This recording begins now. Hi, everybody. I'm Sherri. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to do something special, something different. So I have a friend here. Her name is Ashley. Say hi, Ashley. So Ashley is also an artist. And I'm really excited to speak to her today and to talk about her amazing art and her life. And the reason that I want to do this is going to be the beginning of other interviews that I'm going to have with my artist friends, because my intention is to share with my friends, my viewers, artists who I just love and we connect with. We're friends, and I want to bring support to my friends. And so that is my whole intention, because I love them. So I want to
I
tell
love you too.
you. So I want to share with you a little bit about Ashley's background before we bring Ashley on and she gets to talk about all her beautiful art. Some of the art is behind her, but she has an array of art that's amazing, and talk about her projects that so exciting. So Ashley is a certified intentional creativity red thread guide, teacher, guardian, guild member, curate and training with Shiloh Sophia at the Musea Center for Intentional Creativity and Consciousness. She is a lifelong thespian, studied Meisner technique with Joanna Bexon in New York City, and is a founding member of the Jewel Box Theater in Hollywood, California. So, what I love about Ashley is that she's one of the kindest people I know. And uh, she is um, she is a very respectful person when it comes to inclusivity, compassion, and love. She is known by me, what I call her, and what she is known as in our artist community, which is intentional creativity, is Stardust Unicorn Ashley. So, welcome, Ashley, to my podcast. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. I'm so glad you invited me. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is really cool. So Ashley, what's going on these days? Talk to me about your latest painting that you've working on or you've completed. I see
Okay.
things behind there.
Yeah, the painting that's behind me right here, the big one, this is a painting that I'm doing in the latest certification training I am in at Musea. And it is the Animistica is the name of the course. And I'm getting a certification as an intentional creativity cura, is healing arts, metacognitive drawing and medicine painting and ritual. And it's been a really wonderful experience. Each one of these courses at Musea just brings so much more from within that I can use for my soul work, which is the Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary. The Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary is in development, and it is going to be a streaming web series for unicorns and wild things of all ages. And in particular, I want to appeal to 9-year-olds because I've heard the horrible, distressing fact that 9 years old is a low end for children committing suicide as young as 9 years old. So my intention is to have this Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary show in which we are doing intentional creativity processes and imparting these children with tools to be able to help them navigate being alive, being in this world which has turned upside down and around and around. And 9 years old, I just learned today that is a crucial age where children start feeling separate, like an individual, rather than just a part of the whole, and that they can feel really lost. And that one of the things like they do in the Waldorf schools is they teach them how to make their own food and to make their own clothes, and to help them feel self-sufficient in a world that is overwhelming, even to us as adults. So that's my soul work. And right now, through the Animistica course, we are all individually working on our own soul work, a book. And so my book is going to be the Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary. It's about my story of being, being before I was born, choosing what would be the most exciting thing for me to be, come down to planet Earth. And that was to be a Stardust Unicorn. And I would say, there's so many wonderful things about being a unicorn, but there are also things about being a unicorn that may even be your very favorite thing about being a unicorn, that you can be ridiculed or teased, all of those things. So I want to bring tools to all of the inner unicorns and wild things, so that we can not only navigate and survive, but thrive, and hopefully be able to help all the other unicorns and wild things which are in all of us, but that so many have been lost, and there's just no way that we're connected with our magic, with our inner um, childhood and wonder and artistry. And one thing that's really important for me is to help get children and adults of all ages knowing that creativity is a gift that we give to ourselves. So many people I know are artists. Oh, well, I'm not good, I'm not talented. Well, being an artist doesn't have anything to do with talent. Talent has to do with, if you're doing, traditional painting, art, all of those things. You want to be in a fancy gallery, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, right? Classically trained. This isn't about being classically trained. This isn't about innate talent. It's the fact that every single one of us is creative by nature. And that when we're children and we're vulnerable, someone says, oh, that doesn't look like a tree, or that doesn't look like a person, then all of a sudden we get caught up in what somebody else's idea of what our personal creations should look like. And that is absolutely nobody's business. And to be able to create, to paint, to draw, to dance, to do any of those things, we're doing those things for ourselves, to be able to express our joy and our emotions. Because even if we have wonderful talk therapists, like I do, I've seen a talk therapist weekly for about a decade now, worked through all sorts of stuff around and about, but there's a way that trauma and that energy stays in our bodies that does not get dispelled by talking, right? So there's this energy in you, and I want to put it on the canvas. I want to move it through. In particular, trauma is really, for me, that was my first experience with intentional creativity. Was I had no idea what it was. I just knew I wanted to heal trauma. And through the act of painting, through picking colors that represent parts of yourself, through putting that on the canvas, through the energy that's in your field, going through your arm, through your hand, even hands on the canvas, which is what I did, just like didn't even use a brush at first. I was just getting that out. You're moving that energy, that field all through you into the physical form onto the canvas. And you can be liberated from things that have been keeping you down, sometimes for your whole life. And I know that sounds like a big claim, but it's absolutely true. My very first painting I did, intentional creativity, I healed trauma that 10 years of, well, let's say at the time it would have been 5 years of training, of therapy, had not shifted. One painting, 2 days of a weekend, I transformed moved energy out of my body onto a canvas. And that canvas, that painting, is a medicine painting. When I look at that painting now, it's a woman coming up through the waves, out of the waves. It's called Up from the Depths. And for me, I look at that painting and see myself moving myself up from the depths of trauma and being just consumed by it into the freedom that I gave myself by doing this painting through this process. And that's what I want to teach children. I want to teach children that. I want to teach adults that to be creative is a gift you give yourself. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Maybe it does if you have talent or you want, that you want to get caught up in that, but this has nothing to do with that. That has to do that we are creations and we are here to create. We were created by the creator, whatever that is, and we are here to create. And by the act of creating, we tap into the greatest joy and self-awareness and liberation that I have ever experienced. And to be able to have a tool that helps us in the most difficult times. By virtue of being alive, we're all going to suffer. There's going to be suffering, loss, all of those things. But with the tool of intentional creativity, you can suffer and feel joy simultaneously. To be able to weave a red thread of connectivity through intentional creativity painting through your life can help draw you through those most difficult times. So you could be at your painting, putting marks for, say, in January, my partner and I lost our kitty, Cleopatra. And so I was doing a painting and I was crying with the sheer joy of painting and making color and line really brought home to me what Shiloh Sophia says to us all, which is when you're suffering, if you drag yourself to the canvas, because at that canvas, you will find the joy of love and being alive that will help carry you through, even simultaneously grieving. And it is mind-blowing to be painting and crying, sorrow for the loss of our kitty, and with joy and the connection of love to the oneness that we all are. That's
Wow.
the short answer.
Yeah. So awesome. So tell me about the painting that you're working on with, is it Animist?
Amistica.
Okay, so the painting that you're working on right now, what I see, first of all, I love the colors and the movement that's going on that you've got. And so tell me what it says on there, because I can't really read it, but I see
Oh,
some
of
lettering.
course.
Yeah.
Sure. This painting is called The Exotic Inner Wilderness. So we are painting our inner landscape, which is new in as much I don't even know if we're going to have a figure on there. It may simply be our exotic inner landscape. And one of the things that we did as part of the class was to go outside within a mile radius and find a plant, tree, flower, bush, something that resonated with each of us, and have that plant be our plant ally. Right? You
Oh,
just sit with it, you look at it, you send, I want to be your ally. Would you be my ally? It sounds weird, but it really is quite intense to find a natural living being. It's a being. I mean, everything has that essence, that spirit, that oneness of creation.
so what did you pick?
I picked It's called a steeple bush. And you can see that I've got the stalks here, and there's
Yeah.
a sort of like the pink little
Yeah,
tall
yeah, yeah.
those,
Oh, yeah.
those that's a steeple bush. It's also called, I think, a Rose Douglas fly. I don't know how it's pronounced. I just read it.
Yeah.
But they're very uh prevalent here in the Pacific Northwest. And what I loved about it, one, it was just so striking. It's Martin and I live on the edge of a wetlands, and it's right at the Beaverton Creek watershed. And so there's a big old pond over there and a big old pond just all around us.
Mhm.
And so I just walked out to the pond area, and it's lined with raspberry bushes. So all these thorns and everything, right? But coming up through the raspberry bushes are these steeple bush flowers.
Oh,
So it's this beauty, and they kind of look like little mass of fuzzy puffballs all stuck together. So they look kind of fluffy and fuzzy and this bright color. And there they are living among thorns. It's just really, really resonated with me. And so that was what I put on the steeple bushes. And then, and I'll tell you what it says on the bottom in just a second. And then the last two steps have been the steeple bushes, the flowers. And then up above, it's actually a river. And there's the concept of the river beneath the river. I'd never heard of it before. Rio Abajo Rio. It's the river that flows the deepest down in the earth, that if you're trying to get a river in real life to go one direction or another, that eventually that river under the river is going to try to go back to the path that it's in. So we're accessing our own river under the river so that we can flow in the way that we are naturally intended, rather than the way that societally or family or friends or any of those things have tried to get us to go different directions, right?
yeah.
So we're tapping into our river beneath the river.
Very
And
cool.
yeah, I thought so too. I was like, ooh, that's awesome. I never heard that before. And
Very
so on the bottom here, it says, and shocked and persuaded my soul to ignite. And then it says Fish. Fish is the band Fish. I'm a big fan. Years ago, I followed them around 40 times. I've seen them. So this is a really big deal. And
Wow.
the reason this is on here is I hadn't listened to Fish for a long time. Previous relationship, that's what we did. So I hadn't really brought Fish back into my life. And so the other day, I was like, I wonder what it would be like to paint to Fish. So I paint to all sorts of other music. And so figured, let's give it a try. And as I was doing it, it was just all of the joy. I mean, you have to love something if you see it 40 times, right? So there was this
Especially
joy.
a band.
Right, right. And so this joy of what that was like to be in that, like, just room or outdoor amphitheater with all these loving humans experiencing this joy of music with this band.
Mhm.
And so I was having that experience just here at my canvas. And then this song came on. The song is called Rift, and it's just the crescendo, the building up. It's and shocked and persuaded my soul to ignite, and shocked and persuaded my soul to ignite. And I was like, that's what this is. My soul is being ignited by this process. And it's the first time I've ever written anything on one of my paintings. Like, I don't usually write. I know a lot of people put words or poems or whatever. I'd never written anything. And so that's why I put that there. Was
Cool. Where in the process are you? Is it complete or are you?
Oh, no, the course started, this is a 5-month course.
Mhm.
It started on June 1st, so
Uh-huh.
we're only a month and a half in. This may look nothing like this by the end. They transform so much,
So how
but
long is the course?
5 months.
Oh, wow.
So we're
Very
not even
cool.
through the second month, and this is where we are.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I wanted to share with with people who come to watch. Um, Ashley and I went to the same school that Ashley went to, and we went to the same program together. Now, I can't remember, Ashley, did we
Color
go
of Woman.
to Color of Woman together? So
Yes,
we got graduate student
yes,
alumni together. Okay,
yes.
very cool. So class of 21, 22,
23.
20. Oh,
Isn't it 23?
oh, mine was 22, from what I remember, Ashley, because
22.
I moved here. Now it's all a big blur for me.
Yes.
Let me just
It
say
is.
that
Yeah.
because timeline is, it's getting compressed. So,
Yes,
um,
absolutely is.
as well as expanding. So for those of you who are into quantum information, that's how I view my life. Others view their lives differently. So I'm
Yeah,
using words that make sense to me. And so from what I understand, Ashley, we moved here from Florida in 21. And so it was that year, so the fall of that year that I graduated. And then what happened was I decided that I'm going to be support on the um on the social for Musea. And so
that's it.
okay,
That's it. That's why I knew that we met during Color of Woman. And, there's just
the
so
23rd.
much going on, and we were interacting and became friends and all of that, that it was like, oh, you were supporting, not in it, but in it anyway. You were supporting.
So intentional creativity is how our comment, that's how we met. And so we met, it's been a few years, right? And so we've stayed in contact. We made a really nice friendship. At least that's, how I felt. And
Absolutely.
obviously you did too, because we're talking. But, as you can see with our work is two different styles because the language, Ashley's, um, I'm speaking to those who are aspiring creatives, artists, as well as those who are artists. Even though we went to the same school, it's individual. Everybody's individuality that's one of the commonalities, the common language that she and I both share is we honor individuality. And so, um, and so uh talk to me though, Ashley, because I'm no longer, for me, I'm on my own journey. As you know, that's who I am. I'm a sojourn. I
Yeah,
come, I stay a little bit, and then when I hear the voices of my ancestors, who I call kupuna, divine, if you will, tell me to move forward, then I move in that. That's how I flow. That's how I work my life. But share with me, if you will, what are you currently, besides Anna Mystica, you are, tell me about the project that you're involved with as with Musea. Tell me the projects besides Anna Mystica that you're working on, your own personal projects. Because I know you mentioned a little bit about it, your web program, and I want you to share share with us this. What has inspired you, Ashley? Um, First of all, your name is just so freaking unique and it's so like playful and it's very mystical too, right? Because the unicorn is very mystical, and for some people, it is different people view unicorns in different ways. For me, it's a mystical ancestor that I recognize, that I honor. And so that's my belief system. So share with us what share with us your inspirations for you. you,
Sure,
as
of
you did
course.
with Mystica, but share with us about your
Absolutely.
personal journey with what you've learned with
Stardust
Mystica.
Unicorn.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Stardust Unicorn was born in summer of 22, when I took the Legend Clan Cura, which is one of the Musea yearly courses, is Legend. I've done it twice now, but during my first
That's my
Legend,
legend.
oh, oh,
That's my
nice,
first one. And
awesome.
it's actually called Mystic. So it's like,
There you go.
it's
I
like,
think I have a card with that exact painting
oh,
on it.
okay.
It's on my desk. Look, I think the cat must have knocked it off. Um, so I was in that course, and during that, it really helped me identify that about me, which what I came in with, like my innate wisdom, sensibilities, um, just how I am from the very beginning. I've always wondered why it's so difficult for people just to be kind. And just I was I had two experience where I lived with grandparents and great grandparents during some formative years,
Yeah.
and that was idyllic and so love infused.
Yes.
They were Southern Baptists, so Jesus loves little children, all the children of the world, all the colors. So from the very beginning, I thought, well, everybody should love everybody. And then on the other side of my family, and my mom's mom, we lived with her, and she owned a theater in Santa Barbara, California, which is my hometown. And she would take me to auditions because she saw that I was a hyperactive chatterbox. One of these things is not like the others, struggling with my peers who found it more fun to tease me. And she took me to some auditions. And at our house, we had all the theater people. So, theater people, everyone, color, shape, sexual orientation,
What an
what part of the
experience.
world.
What a great experience
Yes,
to be around all that.
yes. So to
Be around
have,
all that energy of just freedom. It's like
yes,
such
yes,
freedom, right?
absolutely, absolutely. So I've always considered myself like the Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary. Well, I feel like I was born as a sanctuary. Like when people are with me, they know that they're not going to be judged or criticized or shamed, and they can tell me their darkest secrets and they will be safe with me. I love to know people's secrets, and I don't tell them. So I think I was a little girl. My mom said, I'm going to tell you a secret, and if you tell anyone, I'm not going to tell you another one. So that I was like, I want to know the secret. I don't care about telling someone.
Stardust Unicorn, the secret keeper.
Yes, there you go. I've never even thought of that. So I just from the beginning, oh, like when I was 12 years old, as early as 12, strangers would come up to me like on public transportation and tell me their sorrow. It was especially at 12, I looked mature for my age, but strangers want to tell me what's hurting them. And that's what I came in with this. I didn't make this happen. It is who I am. And so during that legend course, exploring what I came in with. So, well, what am I? I'm a guide. I'm someone that I want to shine the light on the path for people to teach them that through intentional creativity, they can heal themselves, that they can answer their own riddles, right? And to be able to be a sanctuary and to um, Yeah, to a guide and a sanctuary. So it was all through that legend that came up with it. What would be the most amazing name that you would think of? Like, what name is it that is yours inside? And I would always loved unicorns since I was very small. My whole room had unicorn posters everywhere. I feel like a unicorn because I'm one of these things is not like the others.
I really love this. I love this conversation and you're sharing because I think I'm gonna speak for I'm gonna speak for me first of all, and that is there is a thread of something that you shared that hits that I feel in my heart, and that is what I was raised I was raised to believe Jesus loves everybody as a child, so I viewed my childhood in that way. And then when adultdom came, or I not even adultdom, it was teenagedom, that my world got shook to where I'm like, wow, why are these people so mean?
Yeah.
So the introduction of that strangers being mean to me, and so you're speaking about the unicorn of, so what I envision is what unicorn means for me. Let me say this. For me, a unicorn is somebody is a being, somebody that when I when they are in my presence, it is such a tremendous gift to me because they're part of what we know today as that have been oppressed. And so I just want to speak a little bit to this because it's my heart and my connection to you and what you have to
Yeah.
share. And that is that the thread for me is that the relation of the unicorn, right? That as somebody who knows you and as your friend, whenever I'm in your space, whenever we make contact, with our text, it's like my heart leaps because I'm like, there is somebody who gets it, who gets that part of
Oh,
what the unicorn represents.
oh,
And for me, it's all about honoring ancestors. As you know, that's my whole story and my teaching. And that
I
is
love that.
connecting with the ancestral lineages and that to consider all things as gifts. And
Mhm.
so I love that you shared about, what and that that is your identity. And so I'm really excited about your web show. I'm excited about your show and what you're going to be doing with children, working with children. And so what's your forecast? When is it, what is your forecast like for a show? I mean, I know you mentioned your book, so let's talk about your book. And then also, if you could do a tie-in, I know, that there's a tie-in with the show where are you at? Are you in production or
Yeah, yeah,
pre-production?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, right now, my thought is I want to write the book,
Okay.
and that will happen through this course. Every day, new stuff is coming up and onto the page, and just like I said, saying just today was when I thought, oh, I don't want it to be a unicorn survival guide because that means I'm in a position of defensiveness. I want it to be a thrival guide. um, Thriving, and also not just thriving in a world that um, can be treacherous for unicorns, but also with the idea that to be able to speak to the inner unicorn or wild things of the world and maybe get people to wake up and also think, why can't I just be kind?
Yeah. And so what I see is, because I can see the tie-in with your painting right now, that you're talking about the steeple flower. Am I saying that right? The
Yeah,
steeple
steeple bush.
bush, as well as the inner the deep river.
Ah, the river. Yeah.
And then with what we're talking about with the unicorn that has been so and I don't have the right words, but I want to make sure that I try and convey what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, and that's that um where one time when it existed on planet, it was so, it was, some cultures looked at it as a god. And when it became to the point where they were killed, okay, so they were killed off because of their gifts. Like Ashley has her individual gifts. I have my individual gifts. The steeple flower has its individual gift. It's a being. The rivers, whatever way it flows, has a gift. There's a purpose for it.
Yes.
So the raspberry bush has a purpose. And so as unicorn had a purpose, we don't know it's all of its story because it's been killed. It's been annihilated. And so why I'm sharing this is because Ashley brings her, what you're going to be bringing, Ashley, is really amazing to be able to help children and to bridge that identity and connection through the unicorn. Because we have to remember, what I believe is we have to remember that um, all things to be considered, all inclusion. Let's include those stories that are so far in our timelines as humans, but that they still matter. And so if we can make that connection, which I believe you're going to do this, it's so exciting. And I'm here to support you in any way I can, but the connection that your small voice, little one, matters.
Mm.
That unicorn's voice that some of us can hear, depending on how our bodies are made up, if we are structurally made with the gift to be able to hear the unicorn or feel the unicorn, see the unicorn, however our gifts are, that just the acknowledgement that it existed and that you can have beauty, you can create beauty with what Ashley is bringing forward with her gifts of her show, her book, her art. So I'm really excited for you, Ashley. I just wanted to insert that because I think it's just phenomenal how you're making the connection through discoveries of the paintings and intentional creativity, and how that is allowing expansiveness of exploration of areas that were once so closed off because of the way that our world has structured us, has taught us that there's certain taboos that we're supposed to and not supposed to talk about, and things that are put in these compartmental boxes to try and influence us on, how we are supposed to think and operate. It's like, um, Ashley and I have this common way where we're like, fuck that, break free. It's like, first of all, so
Mhm.
the honor that I give to what we share with the way that we create um, is really important. And to be able to share it with the world is really important work in whatever capacity. So I'm really excited for you, Ashley. Um,
Me too. Mhm.
so talk to me about your book, and are you taking pre-sales? Talk to me about your book and when you do pre-sales, because we want to make sure we let people know about it.
Um, hadn't even thought of pre, but sure, why not? Um,
Or you let
I
me know, because we'll bring you on when you have it, and then we can.
yeah, oh, that'd be wonderful. Um, the the idea of being able to like for, unicorns are known for attracting, they're only attracted to people who are pure of heart, right? Someone, the legends that I grew up as a child, that a unicorn would come and put its head in the lap of someone pure of heart. And also the fierce defense ability of the horn to fend off, you know, evildoers, right? Monsters, and to be able to, um, you know, I'll say, I have a rainbow coat, mane and tail, and often I have all of the colors. As my hair reflects, that I often will have all of the colors in my hair. So that analogy, I think will really resonate with many
Yeah.
people. And I forgot to say that the stardust part of the unicorn, um, everything that's in us was a part of what was when the cosmic orgasm explosion happening, and everything that's in the universe is not in us, but everything in us is in the universe. So we are made up of that initial substance, and all of us, everything. So that's sort of the animistic part. We are all part of this energy, this love. What for me is love.
So
Um,
yeah, for certain. I totally feel you, and so I'm glad you're sharing about that because it's really important that one thing with people who are here or tuning in is that my story is my motivation is expanding love. And so you'll only find friends on here who are doing their own individual work to do that. It's really important. Is it going to be a fictitious book? Is it going to be your story that you're sharing
it's going to be,
your art?
yes, absolutely. We'll have my art. I semi-autobiographical, but in a more fictional framework, but everything that's in it will be true for me, right?
And so is it going to be geared for who is it a children's book? Is it for adults? Is it
That's that is unknown at this point.
okay? Okay.
Um, but the idea is that children would be able to read it, but that adults would be able to get something from it as well. It's like, those shows that are great for kids, but the parents are laughing too. That's what I'm aiming for, is multi-generational appeal.
Cool.
The lessons and
Cool.
the stories and the
Yeah.
um, enthusiasm to be who we are as
Talk to me.
individuals.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So I think about some shows of my childhood that I really enjoyed. So share with us who inspired you.
Well, Mr. Rogers,
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, my heart, absolutely watched him all the time, especially when I was with my grandparents and great grandparents. I mean, that's what more wholesome show can you have than Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers, and then of course Sesame Street. So Jim Henson,
Mm,
The Muppet Show, Grover.
the best. So funny.
Grover.
Grover was so funny, man.
Grover is my favorite. And
He made me laugh out of all the characters. Grover was like, when Grover came on, it was like the fun is begin. He's bringing the laugh.
remember he would do like this to Kermit, like put his hand on him, like, I have something to tell you. Wait.
Oh man.
So,
Awesome.
so yeah, so Mr.
I
Rogers Jim
Oh, what a great show.
Henson.
Yeah, what a
He
great show. So what part of Mr. Rogers did you like? Because it's the big, okay, so I remember Mr. Rogers, how he would come, of course, the song, right? And then how it sets up where your camera's going to the village. And then he comes in and he takes off his sweater and his shoes and he puts it on. You know what I just learned?
What's that?
That his mother knitted all of his sweaters. Did you?
I didn't know that.
Okay,
Oh,
I just saw it. I don't know how true it is, but I'm like, that's pretty awesome.
that's really sweet.
Okay, so
Intentionally created sweaters
right.
made with love.
So there was the part when I always loved how he would bring his neighbors on. The
Yes.
mailman was on, and then he'd bring musicians on. Okay. And then he would do the fish, he'd feed the fish, which is always really.
Yes.
And then
Mhm.
the other thing that I love was how he show and tell. That
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
the part where I was always like creeped out about, but I liked it, was make believe land. Talk to me about how can you talk to us and share with us about the show and what you foresee? Just a little
Absolutely.
bit. Give us a picture of like what you envision with this show.
Um, what I what I love about Mr. Rogers is that he had a way of being able to bring the current time period, like for example, during the Vietnam War,
Yeah.
he spoke to the children about war,
Mm.
about, we can get scared sometimes, can't we? And what do we do? Or the speech he gave to Congress where he got $1 million funding. You've seen that, right? Where he says, "What do I do with the mad that I feel?" And it's so
It's so
simple and
profound.
so profound
It is.
to be able to. So when I think about what I want to bring to the series and to the book is those types of life lessons,
Mm.
ways to think about things that are big and scary, and ways to, in particular, who I am as a person. That the
Yeah.
person reading the book, I can feel like me, and I can say what a boundary is, and it's my boundary. So
Yep.
teaching things like that, because I was so vulnerable, my that experience was
Yeah.
called, helped grow the unicorn that you see before you. And yet it also left me woefully unprepared
Mm.
for the rough parts of life.
Mm.
And so I think that having Mr. Rogers there to talk to me about those types of things that had not yet entered my life,
Mm.
um, gave me some sense of uh, anchoring. And so that's what I want to do. I want to be able to put together in the book as many life lessons as I can that's fun and adventurous, but not heady. Because, like I said, I want somebody who's 9 to be able to read it.
I totally see this as a series. I totally see
Yeah.
this book as, sorry, I'm just giving a visionary that
No,
I've
I love when you do that.
it's a download.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Mhm.
and that's kind of like the Berenstein Bears goes to
Yeah.
does
Oh, yeah.
Berenstein Bears dot dot dot. It's
Yeah.
like it's like there's a new adventure all the time. And every time Berenstein Bear books came out when I was a kid, I'm like,
Me
wow,
too.
look at this new.
I love those
What's
books.
new.
Yeah.
Right?
So yes, the book, the series, the book can certainly be a series as well.
Yeah, for
And
certain.
like all the different, and maybe each book will have a particular theme. Um, that's a really great idea. Because that way I don't have to feel like I'm limited, like, oh, I'm gonna stuff all this stuff into one book. So that's a really really excellent. Thank you for that, Sherri. I love your downloads.
It's our ancestors that, ancestors are talking to me. God talks to me, creator talks to me. And I just listen and I'm just the messenger. That's my
Yeah.
gift. And so, but one thing that I wanted to share too is that when you were talking about life lessons for kids, I think that's something that our parents were not able to, we're from the same generation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
I'm a year younger than you, I think.
back then, right, in the 70s, when it was going on, the war was going on, it's like I had family members who were there, but our people never talked about it, what it meant for us. And I think sign of the times is that I know for me and many people from our era, there were things that we they didn't talk to children the way they talk, the way parents are talking to children now. And even now, depending on, people's um choices as far as, how they're influenced politically, I mean, not to bring up politics, but it influences how people are parenting their children, where they won't talk about certain things. Like I know somebody who won't even talk to their child about, inclusivity, of different people. And it's like, you got to be talking to them about this, I mean, this is like the way of the world. And so to have, I could see this, that people come from, I know as a parent, when I was a parent raising a child, um there were certain aspects of me that the way that I parented, clearly, I did not meet the marks, reach those marks that were could have really helped my child along. What you're speaking of is very necessary, I find, that is very valued, where, to bring back the values of good television,
Yeah.
good TV, where we're like, let's help this child. I mean, these shows you're talking about really malama. Malama is a Hawaiian word where really care for our children, because the way that our structure is, the way that our educational system has been um, very compartmentalized, where now it's more inclusivity is happening, it's more open than it was in our time. So for you to bring forward that way of, hey, let me step in, let me bring my gifts forward, and let me do my part, because there's children who won't get that support, who will have questions. And so to talk about that with children in the manner that you will through TV, through media, is really, really awesome, Ashley. I'm really excited for you.
You know, I mean,
Excited for bringing forward. Yeah.
thank you. I mean, we are one race,
Mhm.
the human race. And to try to say that it's anything different is all about self-serving, power over, just it's all contrived. It's not real. We
Yeah.
are one race.
Yeah, I really believe, Ashley, I'm sorry. I really believe so much of our sicknesses, of our people, of our country, is because we are so disconnected to our ancestral lineages. I share this because this is my story.
Yeah.
I've gone through it. And when I decided that I needed to make those changes necessary, it's my journey. And so for to have people, sisters, right? So this is it. And that's for me and my community, and that's to expand and allow sisters such as Ashley to come forward, share your story, share your gifts, share your creativity, and to share your art, share your heart, and expanding it in the world. That's what I want to do, is help people to do that. And to connect that. And there's one thing one thing that I share, and that is part of Aloha, the teaching of Aloha, is that it isn't just about the humanness, it's about all multiverse, that we are a portion of a vast amount of life in many parts that we don't even know about. Some
Oh
of
yeah.
us have touched some of those civilizations, but if you look at the stars, you'll see just how grandly Creator has made. And I really am excited for all the lives you're going to touch, all the lives that you're going to help transform, to help bring more compassion and love in this place
I sure hope so.
that we call Honua and Earth. So Ashley, I think we need to have Ashley visit part two. Um,
Okay.
so I want to invite you back another
I would
time
love to.
to talk more about your projects and
Okay.
what's going on in your life. And I'm very grateful that you said yes to meeting and to coming.
I'm
And
so delighted.
Ashley has an amazing website. And so I'm going to leave links to in the description of how you can check out Ashley's art, her projects. She also teaches workshops, and get to know Ashley more through that. And I know she's got links to social too there. So
I do.
I can also have that linked up too in the description, Ashley. And so, is there anything you want to add before we go for today?
Just that we all have the capacity to create our own reality, in as much as we can't control what's going on outside of us, but we can challenge ourselves to control what's going on inside of us. We can choose to be mad. We can choose to stay in mad and just feel like, feel how awful it feels when you're mad. But you can choose to not be mad. You can choose to, if there's something that's bothering you, what actions can you take? Take those actions and yet remain peaceful within. And the way to do that, that I have found, is through intentional creativity, because it allowed me to be able to clearly hear my own voice, to really realize that I am the creator of my reality. I'm choosing how to feel about this or that or the other thing. Nobody's making me feel anything. So when I really got that, my mom taught me that, like probably the end of my 20s, because my mom's a Buddhist. And she told me that we're all 100% responsible for creating our own reality. And I was, what does that mean? And so I remember being like, when I lived in Los Angeles, like, okay, you're stuck in traffic. Do you want to be mad that there's traffic? Or do you want to say, I chose to live here where there's traffic. I chose to work. So it's just when you really deconstruct it, you, I, all of us are creating the world that we live in, because this is the world we live in, no matter where we go in the world.
It's our sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
It's our
So
sanctuary.
that's it. That's the key, is with the Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary, I want to empower people to create their own inner sanctuary, which is already there.
Yeah.
They just have to access it.
Yeah. Yep. So I just want to piggyback that for um, we're all made differently. We all have unique gifts and we're all perfectly made. And that's one thing that to honor. So I honor you, Ashley, for your uniqueness, your unique beauty, as I know you honor me. And
Right.
um, thank you so much for sharing your story with people here, with me, with people here. Um, and I just want to thank you for your time and thank the people for coming. And um, until next time, Ashley, I wish you good things.
Likewise. All
God
my love.
God bless your multiverse that you live in.
Thank
And
you. Yours.
But thanks. May peace and joy always surround you. So, and love. Tremendous amount of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sherri.
everybody. Until next time. Aloha, ahui ho. Bye.
Bye.
This recording ends now.